What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TTG Radio. Today is a nutrition-focused episode. Well, kind of, sort of both, I suppose, strength and conditioning and nutrition. We're talking about a question that is frequently asked of, I think, at least of me in the gym is, what are my thoughts or our thoughts on Ozempic or weight loss drugs, and how does that play into nutrition coaching and strength and conditioning or resistance training and weight loss? So I wanted to share some science and some research behind this so that y'all could be better educated on what decisions you feel confident making with your doctor if this is something you're looking into. So before I dive into that, I do want to quickly announce that our beta testing group for the online nutrition course has completed their course. So the field guide to fat loss has been tested, and we've gotten some really great feedback. We made some fun changes and kind of added to the course as people have gone along. We're aiming to get a couple of our beta testers' testimonials, either in audio or video recording, over the next couple of weeks to share with y'all. But the course will be launching January of 2024. So we're about a month away, which is really exciting. If you are interested, if you want more information, you want to know about the launch and when it becomes available to purchase, I will put the link to join our waitlist in our description and show notes below. It will also be listed on our website, and I'll be posting it all over social media. So lots of different places that you can find it, but super pumped. The course will become available on Tuesday, January 9th, and there will be about a 10-day period that it will be available, and then that time will close. So it'll only be available for a certain amount of time, January 9th through the 18th, and then the course content will start delivering on Friday, January 19th is the current plan. So very excited about that. If you have questions, please send them to me in my direct messages on Instagram. I'm at Danny Phillips, or at TTG Sports Performance. I will answer there as well. So without further delay, let's dive into this topic. I absolutely love Dr. Bill Campbell, and I will link his Instagram below. He has an online kind of membership program called Body by Science, and he reviews scientific research related to the physique. So he is a physique scientist. He is at University or USF. I will put it in the show notes. He has a physique science lab where he conducts his own research at a college in Florida, and he does some really cool reviews. So he is all about how can we optimize our physique with nutrition and strength training. And I really enjoy taking the science and figuring out how to apply it to our clients' lives. So I wanted to I did a review of his review, because you can only fit so many words on Instagram posts, right? So I wanted to just explain it a little bit more and give y'all some background. So he reviewed an article that was called 2-Year Effects of Semaglutide in Adults with Overweight or Obesity, the Step 5 Trial. I will link that in the show notes and in the description below. So if you've probably heard of Ozempic, you may not have heard of semaglutide, but semaglutide is the drug that is either marketed as Ozempic for those with type 2 diabetes, or it's marketed as Wegovy for those who desire weight loss. I had not heard of Wegovy until I read this article, so you might not have either. When it comes to weight loss and energy balance, you must have more energy going out than coming in if you're trying to lose weight. And you can do this in a couple of ways, right? You can either take in less calories, or you can produce more energy output through exercise, just daily movement in general, your NEAT exercise, so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, your TEF, your thermic effective food, or you can do this in a combination of both, of taking in less or moving more. And the gist of semaglutide, or the Ozempic, is that it's going to help you create that negative energy expenditure. So it helps to suppress appetite. Therefore, you are not as hungry and you don't eat as much. So you're consuming less calories and you're putting yourself into an energy deficit, therefore leading to weight loss and fat loss. Semaglutide is almost identical to the hormone in our body called GLP-1. And that is produced naturally in your gut and in the brain. So some roles of GLP-1 that are discussed in this article: it prompts the body to produce more insulin to reduce blood glucose levels by increasing glucose into the muscles. It decreases glucose production in the liver, which, if it wasn't decreased, would increase blood glucose levels. When there are increases in GLP-1, it slows down the amount of time it takes your stomach to empty the food out of it. So your gastric emptying. So if your stomach is slower to empty the food into the intestines, the small intestines, to be absorbed into the body, you'll more evenly distribute blood glucose increases post-meal. So it's kind of giving your blood glucose levels that homeostasis. And then GLP-1 is secreted in that's secreted in the brain, will aid in regulating appetite by creating the sensation of feeling full after a meal. So there's kind of those two big things there of it is an appetite suppressant, and it is also slowing the gastric emptying process and helping to balance out those your blood glucose levels. So kind of two big keys there. Now, the article also discusses why not using GLP-1 instead of this drug semaglutide. So the half-life of GLP-1 is only 2 minutes. So you're only getting these effects of GLP-1 for 2 minutes, a couple minutes. Whereas the half-life of semaglutide drug is 7 days. So that is why the injection is taken every 7 days or once a week approximately. Now, kind of switching from that background on semaglutide or Ozempic into this study, the biggest concern that I would have after reading this article, and yours may totally differ, but just the thing that stood out to me the most is the potential for how much of the weight loss is lean muscle mass. We work so hard for our lean muscle mass, whether to maintain what we have or to continue building it and to keep it for long term. So for me, this was a really big concern. It may not be for some people, or the desire and the need to lose a large amount of weight may be more important and overcome that lean mass loss. So here are some of the details behind this STEP trial. And if you've heard STEP trial and you don't really know what that means, it's an acronym. STEP stands for semaglutide treatment effect in people with obesity. So here are some details of the study. It was a 2-year study, which is a great length of time. And it had about 304 obese or overweight participants. So keep in mind who this study was done on. 75% were female, average age 47, average body weight starting was 233 pounds, average BMI 38.5. So it was a randomized treatment group. So 2 separate groups. One was receiving a weekly Ozempic shot and one, or the semaglutide, and one was receiving a placebo injection. So they didn't know what they were receiving. They also received monthly behavioral kind of education, accountability sessions. So they were prescribed to follow a 500 calorie a day deficit relative to their current total energy expenditure. And it was recommended that they perform 150 minutes per week or 2.5 hours a week of physical activity. So this was something that was discussed once a month with these participants, and they were supposed to, log their nutrition and, talk about it. But because it wasn't 100% monitored, it's hard to tell what exactly was or wasn't followed. So, there is some room for error there. when you're trusting people to do this on their own and you're not following every little, detail to a T. But, you've got to have some places in a study that just aren't going to be exactly as you want them, because that's life. So let's see. Oh, body weight and waist circumference checks were done every 4 weeks up to week 20, and every 8 weeks after that through week 104, or 2 years. So I think that's, that's kind of the basics of the start of the study. Now, the result was that those taking the semaglutide lost a total of, or an average of, 35 pounds across the 2-year period, which was also 15% body weight and 14.4 centimeters in their waist circumference. But 39% of that 35-pound weight loss was lean mass. That's a lot of lean mass in my mind. Again, it's going to be person dependent, and your goals and whatever health conditions you may or may not be working through, that's something you have to discuss with your doctor. The placebo group still lost some weight because they were also following, the 500 calorie a day deficit and that 150 minutes of physical activity a week. On average, they lost 7 pounds, or 2.5% body weight, and 5.2 centimeters in their waist circumference. So still some weight loss, but for 2 years, you probably would be hoping for more than that. So that's the gist of the study, is 2 years, quite a few participants. Very few people dropped out of this study based on the review, which is fantastic. And, it's super interesting. Most of that weight loss did happen within the first year. So again, interesting to see that being on a weekly injection, you can lose about 35 pounds in a year if you're at that level of body weight. And then the shot can help you to maintain. So it does leave one kind of thinking, like, how long do you need to be on this shot? Is it a forever thing? Is it a just for a little while? And should you stay on it to help you maintain? Or once you lose the weight, should you get off? I definitely think that's a conversation, again, to be had with your doctor. And in addition to Bill Campbell reviewing this article, he had a couple of experts reviewing. I want to say Dr. Gabrielle Lyon was one of them, and the other doctor, his name escapes me in this moment, but I'll link him below too. And they did both talk about how they use this drug with their weight loss clients, but they're also very much focused on physique. And it did sound like it was very situation dependent, and also just it was focused on situation dependency as the person, and it's not just about a calorie deficit, it's about a lifestyle change. So I did like that both of the experts were talking about a lifestyle change, a physique change. How do they make sure that this weight loss isn't just for weight loss? It is for that true long-term sustainable lifestyle. So Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, I do follow her, and I have her book, Forever Strong. If you're watching the video right now, you can see it. I absolutely love this book. It's something that I'm referencing often. She talks a lot about a protein-forward diet and how she does work with her clients who are or aren't on Ozempic to make sure that they're focused on 30 to 50 grams of protein per main meal throughout their day, and how there's a good chance that because this study didn't focus on macronutrients, it just focused on a 500 calorie a day deficit, that amount of lean mass lost could be due to a lack of focus on that protein intake. So, protein intake should be higher when you are dieting. And I would love to see another study on this in the future, of talking about that, like maybe almost a similar study where it's more focused on the macronutrients and keeping that protein intake high. So I think this is still very early in the research phases, and there's a lot to be learned, but I'm hoping that this provided you guys a basic understanding of the drug and semaglutide and how it's mimicking something that is already naturally occurring in the body, and how it may or may not be able to help you along your journey. So these are my thoughts, or these are my review thoughts of the study. I hope you can take this and go read the review yourself and then bring it to your doctor if it's something that you are considering. And I mean, personally, I think it's a decision you have to make on your own, but I would always hope that you would focus on your nutrition regimen and your exercise in addition to something else if this is something that you're considering. I don't think that taking something like this is something to be done without trying and really working through other options as well. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and I will continue to share some of these research study reviews on social media and the podcast from time to time. That's going to wrap us up for today. And yeah, mid-December, guys. Happy mid-December. We're through Thanksgiving and almost to Christmas. So hopefully y'all have done your Christmas shopping by now. And if not, I guess you better get to it. Okay, I will talk to y'all in the next episode. Bye for now.